Hello, everyone. I am so excited. I'm just bursting out of my chair and I want to do a dance right now. That I get to hang out and chat with the beautiful and talented and brilliant Jessica Todd, owner of Jessica Todd Salon, Drive by Jessica Todd, and L'Oreal professional artist, and all of the above. You're a sacred sister of mine. From this lifetime and many before this one. And I'm just so honored to share you and your beautiful heart with everyone today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So
Yeah.
excited.
And if everyone just wants to look at that beautiful mural in the back, Be the Change, that I think so embodies you, Jess, because you, in every way, shape, and form, the way you show up for your team, the way you show up for your community, the way you show up for your friends, and most especially for yourself, is that you do the work, you do the inner soul work, and you are always striving to become who you truly are and liberate others to do the same.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so for those of you that had the pleasure of attending the Amber Liljestrom's summit last year in 2017 or this year, I don't even know, where are we, what day? The story that you shared, Jess, as a speaker of that summit, of your journey into becoming this sought after, I mean, you guys have been in business. You're just celebrating your 5-year anniversary.
Yes.
Of being in business, of being a celebrated and booming business in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. If you guys are anywhere in New England or flying there, get your hair done immediately ASAP. I will be doing so when I come home in November. But you've grown this I see it as an empire, and I see this legacy just building. And you really did it all yourself. It just started with a dream, and it started with the part of you that knew beyond the doubt and the fear and what you were told, that there's something more for me. And I choose to just fuel that part and focus on that part. So I'd love for you to just kind of share your story and what led you here to this moment.
Yes. So there was a lot of fear, a lot of doubting, incredible amounts of doubting my entire life. I am dyslexic. I had a really hard time in school. There were certain styles of teaching that I really did well with, and then there were certain ones that I did not. But you know, that's the path. You go to school, you get good grades, you play the sports or join a band or do whatever you're doing, and then you can really, move forward on this like cookie cutter path. And I just remember getting to high school and feeling super excited. I joined varsity cheerleading team. I was like, this is awesome. I'm so cool. I met a lot of amazing women. And then as the years went on, I never really had a lot of confidence at all. I was always really short. I was flat chested. I felt like a 12-year-old boy at times. And it was just like always seeking that external validation and approval, and like wanting to like be fit in and be part of the crowd, so when I joined the cheerleading team, I felt like, sweet, I belong somewhere, And then school continued and my insecurities became larger, and school became harder as we got into the depths of everything. And then I started partying. I was experimenting with drugs. I was drinking. I was doing things that were bringing my vibration way down and were not helping any of my insecurities. But it was like I was always searching for something and trying to like feel better. And I didn't know. I knew that what the path I was on wasn't working for me, but I didn't know do, because that was all that I thought that there was, you know?
Right.
I came from a super loving family. My parents were one of the first parents to get divorced, you know, when they did, out of all my friends, but they were great co-parents, you know, and they had 3 great kids. So that was awesome. And, I just didn't know where I fit. And so as, you know, and as I continued on what I thought was my only path of like making it through high school and then going to college, I remember thinking I'm never going to get into college. Like I was like a C student, a lot of times getting D's because I would get frustrated in class. And so I would leave.
Right.
I would skip school. Any excuse, like my mom would always be like, you're going to be a lawyer because you have every excuse in the book, or no offense to any of the lawyers. But I was just like I really was a little con artist. Like I was like, I just want to get out of here because it didn't feel right. And I knew that, but I didn't know that there was any other option, you know, and parents are moving through with their busy lives and trying to make sure that the kids are okay and make sure that they're okay. And there's only so much energy that people have, you know, so I don't fault my parents for anything. Like they just kept loving me. And as my dad says, he went to all my basketball games and all my court dates and all that stuff. And so once I got to my senior year, the end of my junior year, they told me that I wasn't gonna move on to my senior year. And I remember being like, whoa, like what? I didn't think that was an option. I was like, how did I get here? How did this happen? That story then validated all of my insecurities about not being smart enough, not being good enough, you know, all of that stuff. Like now I'm not going to be able to graduate with my class. Like, are you kidding me? And so I've always been determined. And so I got to the point where I was able to, I talked to my guidance counselor. I was like, there has to be a way we can work this out. She was amazing. She got me into, I was taking so I went from basically not going to school to going to like 2 schools, and I was going to Newburyport High, and I was doing all the classes I could sequentially. And then I was taking some night classes, after that, after school, to try to make up for some of my senior classes. So if everything went perfectly according to plan, I was going to graduate with my class. Found a way.
Yes.
Then I got into a car accident with 2 of my good friends, and that was really, really hard. And then I had to miss some school, and my teacher at Northern Essex Community College told me that I wasn't going to be able to make up the class. She was going to have to give me an incomplete, and then I could go from there. So when I went back to school and they said, you know, you're going to have to go to school through summer, and then you can graduate, you know, take summer classes and then graduate in February, I was like, I'm done. I was just so done. I was like so defeated. I was just like, this was why I was doing everything, was just to walk with my class.
Right.
So I made the decision to drop out. I got my GED right away, and I finished my classes at Northern Essex. And so I ended up having some college credit before my class graduated, which was crazy. Didn't even know that you could go take college classes while you were, you know, in school at a certain point. But, so watching my class graduate without me, I was sitting in the stands because I still wanted to go and see my friend Haley graduate. And I was like, man, this is awful, you know. I just remember feeling like so alone, so disconnected. And I think as humans, all we want is that human connection. And I couldn't have felt further away from where I wanted to be or thought that I should be, and where society was telling me I should be. Right. And because of all of my troubles in high school, my struggles and my experimenting and all of that stuff, you know, it was always like, oh, we're worried about Jessica, you know, like my mom just gave me a note that my grandmother gave me because she always used to watch all these Oprah shows and be like, I'm worried about you. Like, this is like, do this and do that. And so when I finally was like, I'm just done. And then, so that all happened. And then, I was working in a restaurant and I was cleaning houses, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was making money and I was like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I really like hair, I like makeup, maybe I'll go to cosmetology school. And so I ended up going, but I knew that I had to go somewhere that I liked to be, because I knew that school was not my thing.
Right.
So I was like, better go somewhere where you want to be so that you're more likely to go. And I dragged myself through beauty school. That was tough for me too. It just was it just wasn't my vibe. And I just was feeling like attacked by one of my teachers and just not feeling like, I just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But I had an amazing mentor, Nicole Lawton, and her dad owns the beauty school when I started, and he passed away while I was there, and she took the school over, and she believed in me. She saw through all of the stuff that was going on and all of the guards that I was putting up. And she was just like, you're graduating. Like, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I graduated. In New Hampshire, you need 1,500 hours. I think it took me, it should only take you about a year, maybe a little bit over. And it took me a lot longer. I paid a lot of overage fees for hours because I just would skip school again because it was what I knew, right? So
right.
I think we just get these patterns, and it's like, so every time stuff would get tough, or I would feel like,
that's the way that you know how to deal with it. You don't have any other tools yet.
Totally. Didn't have the tools, knew they were out there, so couldn't find them. And so I ended up, thank God for those couple teachers, that they saw through, and sometimes it only takes that one person to believe in you or tell you something. Like, we all remember who that person may be, whether it's a teacher, a parent, friend's parent. So I graduated school, and then I started working for a hair salon in town. I was like, if I'm going to work in a salon, I want to work at the best salon in town. And at the time, I thought it was In Boston Hair Studio, and I was going to all the different salons and booking myself blowouts and just trying to like be like a secret shopper to see like how things would be.
Right.
I went into his salon like 8 times, and I just kept giving my name and giving my name. He probably had so many Post-it notes with my name and number on it, and he wouldn't call me back. And I was so mad, and I again felt defeated, and I was like, fine, I don't want to work there anyways. And then literally the day that I like surrendered and gave up and just didn't really care anymore, he literally called me that day.
Of course.
And said, I want to give you a shot. And so I worked at In Boston Hair Studio for Lawrence Christopher for a couple of years. And then it started getting really, really tough. And, he was on his way. I didn't know it, but he was transitioning. He was doing the opposite commute. So he was commuting from Boston to Portsmouth every day.
Oh, wow.
17 years. So, and he had produced some of the best stylists in this area that then opened their own salons, and he was just amazing. And the other salon I really wanted to work at was 6 Degrees, and they were over on Bow Street. My boyfriend went there at the time, and I just thought it was so cool, but they didn't really need anybody at that time. And so when things started getting hard in Boston, I literally was like, I don't know, maybe I should just quit, and maybe I should go back to doing something else. And I literally was ready to start cleaning houses again. And there's anything wrong with that, but it was like, that was easy for me. That was like something I could just do and work in a restaurant and just have flexibility and do my thing. And then literally, and I said again, I was going to quit. So again, I surrendered, and my boy, well, I thought my phone was going to fall. And my boyfriend at the time, he said, no, you're going to go to work tomorrow, and you're just going to make it happen. And I went into work, and literally that day, I'm not exaggerating, he said, my boss at the time said, I'm going to be closing the shop, or I'm going to be selling the shop, and I got you an interview over at 6 Degrees. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it was like my dream come true. It's like, it was amazing. So yeah. And I worked there. I was there for 5.5 years. I absolutely loved it. I met what was soon to be another one of my mentors, and she got me into education. And then I started working for L'Oreal Professional, and so then I was traveling and teaching, and I really had kind of hit the ceiling, I guess, so to speak, there.
Right.
And one of my clients, two of my clients, Danny and Maura, husband and wife, who are now my business partners, they were such pains in my butt because they always had to, they're always traveling, and then they would, you know, have to cancel, and I would sneak them back in, and because I just loved them and loved their energy. And they asked me if I wanted to go to Little Cayman on vacation, and I went to Little Cayman, and I came back, and we were just talking like life and business, and he was like, JT, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I think I want to open a salon. And that was like the first time that had come out of my mouth. And I was like, where did that come from? And he, and so he's like, okay, well, we're going to, you know, we had a fundraiser that night. And I remember exactly, he said, we're going to have fun tonight. If you want to have a business meeting, you can call me on Monday. And I was like, oh man, this is like serious business. So we had fun, and I called him, and we literally drew some stuff up on a napkin, and I was like, you know, I have nothing to lose, you know, and it was and especially for him to believe in me, to think that I could do it, it was like that was all I needed to be like, yeah, I can do it, because I just remember thinking I literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so then I called my contacts in New York, and then I thought, okay, wow, this is really getting real. And then I thought, well, we'll never find a space in Portsmouth. And then the second space we looked at, we found, and I was terrified. And I tried to pull the e-brake quite a few times on the whole process. And I was trying to bail again, you know, it was like my pattern of like, you know, I started going in it. I believed in myself, and then the fear and the doubts started sinking in, you know, because there's no guarantees of success ever, you know, not even when you get successful, you know, you just have to keep moving. And so then we opened the salon, and then, you know, my passion is people and education and like all of that. And we started with 4 people, and now I have 14 people. And 5 years later, and we've moved into a bigger location. We've doubled our square footage, and, you know, they're still my business partners. And it's, you know, we've definitely had our struggles. Like, I know that it can look really shiny and fun from the outside, but it's been a hard journey, but it's also like every mistake that I've made, every failure that I've had, or success or right move, I've learned something. And it's like really trying to enjoy, you know, where I'm at right now. I'm like, that 5 years went by in the blink of an eye. And it's like, I'm really trying to enjoy the process, because, you know, you look back and you're like, boom, it's like done. And I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're always focusing on the things that could be better. And always, like, you know, with L'Oreal Professional, we're always like, celebrate our wins. And even if it's a little thing, like for me, keeping my calendar straight, like when I do that, it's like big win. So that's my story, and here we are.
It's just really incredible, Jess. And there's so many like key things that you said that I just want to dial into. One is that I think we always want when we take a leap into something, we want it to be shiny and perfect right away. We want things to just flow. And it's never going to be like that. It's just never going to be that fluidity and ease and perfection all the time. You need those failures and those hiccups and those, you know, just complete fallouts to really know who you are in the face of what you're creating, and to become stronger, to gain more tools, more wisdom, more understanding for things that are going to help you later down the road. And so I just think that your approach and the way that you look at that, and the way that you just flow with it, instead of making it mean something about you, instead of making, and I know that there are always those moments that our ego have of, oh, you know, the old story likes to come back in those moments, but that you just say, no, this is helping me. This is serving me. This is an opportunity, and I'm taking it, and I'm learning from it. I'm using it to help me become a better leader, a better businesswoman, a better person. And that's just absolutely incredible. And then the other thing is and this is just an invitation for those watching, you know, how can we be those people that believe in others, that see them for their potential and not for their failure, not for their behavior, not for their actions, not for what they're showing us, but to see beneath that and see them for who they are and hold that vision for them, because every single one of those people who saw you helped you rise to meet that.
Yeah. And like, with one of my coaches I'm working with right now, it's like everyone wants to feel appreciated, wants to feel connected, wants to, whether they say it or not or know it or not, introvert, non-introvert, it's like you want to feel like you're part of something and feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself. And I think that, when repetitive behavior comes up, or, it's like always reminding yourself that you don't know what someone else is walking with or what created that behavior or that pattern or anything.
Yeah.
And like, for me, when I started my business at 26, people were like, "You're Jessica Todd, you look like a baby," and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, actually. We're just going to see how this goes.
Yeah.
And it was, and I remember talking to so many of my clients that were, they're parents of like teenagers that are like, I'm ready to kill them. Like we're worried about them or whatever. And it's like, look, and they look at me and they would compare me. And I'm like, I was not always this buttoned up individual. I mean, I just told you the story, and I would share some of my story with them because it's like, everyone has to go through their stuff, and it's hard to let that happen. And I'm not a parent, and I can only imagine, like, if I was my own mom, like, no.
Yeah.
And it's, but, had I not gone through all of those experiences, I don't know if I would have had the grit to withstand or be as determined as I am to get and do what I'm doing, because I was so hell-bent on getting myself into a better situation and being a good example and role model for girls or boys that had similar situations that I did. Nothing was wrong with my situation. I just was like really lost and not sure that I belonged, and that could go one way or the other. And I was numbing myself with substances, and that's, and that being such a large issue, especially in our area right now, it's like, I think just talking to people and knowing that people don't just become who they are overnight. Businesses don't become who they are overnight. And so it's like, how do you focus on people's strengths and help them see that? Because, what I tell, my girls all the time is like, it doesn't matter what I say, it's what you hear, and it's like and that goes for any leader or any mom or dad, brother or sister or friend. Like, people are hearing, your certain things are always going to be triggered because those patterns and those stories are always there. And like, I joke all the time that, like, when I opened my business, like, every old insecurity that I thought I had dealt with, back up real quick.
We're never done. We're never done.
Yeah. And it's like, and there's never there, so it's like, finding people's strengths and inviting them to share them and let them do it, and people want to be a part of something, and it doesn't have to be a business, whether it's a friend group or sports team or whatever it is, So I don't know if that
beautiful. Oh, so many nuggets in there that I know people are jotting down right now. And one thing that you said is, it just made me think that we get so caught up in labels of like good and bad, smart and dumb. The high achiever, lazy, we have all of these,
boss and manager and
all of that. And I think that there are certain titles that are celebrated in our society, and labels, and certain labels that there's a lot of judgment around. And so if you're only seeing someone for the label in which you're placing, like, oh, she does drugs, and oh, she's a dropout, and oh, like, then you don't even get to know the potential, the person, the brilliance, the wisdom of that person, You've just separated yourself from them. And that is ultimately what's going on in our country, is that we're all labeling each other. We're all separating from each other, and we can't really know who we are. And so we can't really love each other, and we can't really support each other. And so the fact that you're creating that community right now in your space and in your environment, the impact of that is huge. Like, it's just such a beautiful ripple effect, because every single one of your clients, or the amazing women that work for you, your team, they're all seeing themselves through the lens of love and respect and appreciation. And that change, like how that then affects what they go and do now, or who they talk to, or just their overall attitude. I mean, it keeps rippling, and it continues. So it's so much more than hair.
Yeah. I always say that we're light workers disguised as hairdressers.
Yes.
You know, because it's like men or women, doesn't matter. It's, you know, it's incredible when you sit someone down and they won't look at themselves in the mirror, or, you know, we sit down and we immediately start tearing ourselves apart. Like, oh, look at my bags, or oh, I'm tired, or, you know, like whatever it is, you know, and sometimes it takes, you know, the view of yourself through another person to be able to be like, yeah, you know, because it's like there's so many things, and just like our world is amazing, but also our society is a little crazy, and like and a lot of things that encourage us to be negative or focus on the flaws, or like you see someone that's successful and you're looking for their flaws, and it's like, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, you know.
Right.
It's unfair to put people up on pedestals, because it's like it's setting your expectations up for failure, because they're going to disappoint you. And it's going to, you know, and it's not fair to them either. And so it's like just it's truly incredible. And I honestly, I'm reflecting just hearing you say that, and I didn't realize the effect that was going to happen from business. And that is everything to me, you know, just knowing that we've made a positive impact on our community. I don't know, it's, and that's the thing, I don't think you ever know, but I think like the times that I've been the most unhappy are when I'm playing the comparison game, which is a game you'll never ever win. And thinking that like, and it's okay to look at market leaders and be like, what are they doing? Like, how, you know, how are they making that happen? But it's like, the magic is you, and like you being you, and like trusting yourself even when you feel like you don't trust yourself, you know, if that makes any sense. And the times that I've been happy or had the best results is when I'm being me. You know, and making those decisions, and not, again, even with the labels, like labeling myself, well, a boss should act this way, or an owner should be this way. And it's like, are there guidelines and certain things that have worked traditionally? Yes. But really trusting your instincts and your inner knowing, your gut, are like, that's everything.
Yeah. Sister, so agree with all of that. And, you know, as you were talking, it made me think of how whenever we do our work's calling, like the work that we're being called to do on an even deeper level, yes, we're doing it to serve and support others, but on a deeper level, we're doing it because it's the gift we give back to ourselves.
Yes.
It's the very thing that we most need to receive. And so we give it and give it and give it and give it. And with every giving, we receive it even more.
Yes.
So for you, it's you are giving the gift of seeing people's light and their beauty and their potential and their soul over and over and over again, so that you can give that same gift back to you.
So true. Gives me chills
I was just gonna say. So, being in this boss role, you're learning so much about leadership, and I think that's something that it's a word we're hearing a lot. It's a word we're craving more of, a certain kind of leadership. And so, what has been your journey in stepping into this leader role?
Oh, wildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done.
Truth, people. That's what this is about.
Yeah, and I usually am the person who jumps in head first and is like, hope there's water in there. I would say that it's, again, like it piggybacks on what you just said, and it's
right.
It's rolling your sleeves up and doing the work on yourself, and like, knowing that, and like, I have coaches and I have people that are like, why do you have so many coaches? And it's like, because I love learning different parts about myself,
Yeah.
and good coaches are pulling out what's already there.
Yeah.
And that's my job as a leader for these guys. I'm not in being, it's in my role as being an educator. It's my role as being a coworker, that's like a senior hairstylist, and my role as owner, it's pulling out the magic that's already there. You know, it sounds cliche and whatever, but everyone has strengths, and I have people here that complement my weaknesses and vice versa, and there's a place and a role for everyone. But the biggest thing is like, I'm going to quote one of my coaches again, but like, people want to solve problems, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think as a leader, we put so much ownership or so much pressure on ourselves to fix everything,
right,
and to have the answers.
And
you don't have all the answers, and you never will. But like, the best leaders are resourceful, and they're finding that, and they're doing the work on themselves, and they're knowing that they're constantly growing and evolving, and so is everything around you. And really, I think really just rolling your sleeves up and doing the work yourself and on yourself. It's like, healing in you what needs to be healed in others as well. And, really, and people are attracted to, like, you'll just attract the right people, and you'll, like, my tribe is so special here. The best compliment, and I still get it all the time, and I will brag about this, is that you guys have the best energy when you come in,
it's so true.
And we have people that have come and gone, and they're on their journey, and some might come back, some might not, but it's like everyone served a purpose, and it's always taught us a lesson or something that we need, or shifted things the way it needs to be shifted. And we were talking about earlier, you never know, and there's always a divine reason. And I remember walking into the new space being like, holy shit, what did we just do? This is enormous. This is scary. And we were the same team, but it was a different space, different energy. And it was very interesting to see how some of us had a hard time with it. Some of us had an easier time with it. But it's like, it's just like, when things are uncertain, it's uncomfortable, but like, also learning to lean into that uncomfortableness to, be like, okay, well, we're growing and we're stretching, and your little safety, security box, that's a scary place to be, because that's where you get stagnant and you're not growing. And so as a leader, when you're leading a group of people that are uncomfortable, and you're uncomfortable, it's like, what's going on here? But in all seriousness, that's okay, because that means I'm growing as a leader too. So also giving yourself a break and being like, you're figuring it out too, like, and you learn. And again, just constantly, and things sometimes need to be broken down to be built back up. And and
that is just so what this year has been for me.
It's so, I think as like leaders, is like pulling the wisdom out, and also too, like, for me, if someone doesn't want to be here,
Yeah.
don't keep, like, you know, it's like you're doing everyone a disservice, because if
Right.
someone feels like they should be there, but it's not the right fit or whatever, that's reinstilling another bad pattern for them, where they're not feeling good enough, or they don't feel like
Right.
they're in the right spot. And, you know, we hear a lot of, I think the word culture comes up a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's like, I'm building a culture because the culture is the foundation, you know, and it's based
Mm-hmm.
off of core values and, you know, our mission statement. And, you know, like, really, if you're not seeing somebody as a 10, you know,
Yeah.
or as you're not seeing that, then that's probably not a right fit, and it's not
Yeah.
serving of you. And so I think recognizing, like, people always ask me how I hire, and I hire strictly on personality. I don't even actually test their technical skill at all.
Because you can teach that. You can build that. Yeah.
Right. And you can teach that. But if it's like, if it's the right culture fit, or if it's the right personality, you know, it's just going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what I love so much about you, Jess, is that you really honor your alignment. And I know you're learning this more, like on a technical term of what that what that is and what that means. But to trust that if someone's shifting out, that there's intention and purpose behind that, and to release and to not have attachments to the vision of what you think your business should look like, or how people should be, and to just trust that people are going to flow in, they're going to flow out, to be unattached to that, and completely trusting in the alignment of yourself and that person, or with your business. And every time we do that, it's a smoother process for us, because think about every time someone quits, or needs to leave, or shifts out, or how that could cause so much pumping of the brakes. And I know it's a momentary, like, okay, we've got to deal with this, but that could derail anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your moment, and you honor whatever it is that you need to feel as the owner and operator of your business. And then you go, okay, this is happening for a reason. And I honor and trust the core values of my business. And I trust in the culture I'm creating. I trust in my mission statement. And so I just get right in alignment with that, and I open and welcome. And every time you do that, it's like the perfect people come in, and it's just this beautiful up-leveling every single time. And we're always fine-tuning ourselves, our business, our relationships, all of it. So I really love how you trust that, even when it feels uncomfortable as you're going through it. And so just anybody watching, to go through this process of recognizing that there are going to be blips. There are going to be moments when you have no clue what's next, when you don't know what's on the other side of what you're doing, but to keep trusting in yourself and trusting in what you have built, the foundation, the core values that you build anything on, and just to lean into that. And everything else gets sorted out and revealed, and that's not even our job.
And perfectly said. And what a relief that is, to be like, I don't have to figure it out.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, I think that's something that also comes with being a boss or owner or whatever, manager.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to figure it out. I've got to, you know, and it's like, it's all working itself out, and it always does.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest part is, for me, is not attaching myself to an outcome.
Yeah.
And
for
like,
all of us. Yeah.
It's like exactly what you just said. And it's like, it should look like this, it should be like that. And it's like, that is way too much pressure and expectation and everything. And it's like, and it pigeonholes you, and keeps you from, like, what else is possible.
Yes.
What's going to happen that we don't know, and all of those things. And it's like, it's so it can be so much better than you think, right when you think it's like at its worst.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Because there's always, like Rachel Campfield said at the
Mm-hmm.
summit, there's always like when you're getting squeezed so tight, there's always that exhale on
Yeah.
the other side. And
Yeah.
that's where the magic happens. It's when you're
Mm-hmm.
being squeezed.
100%. Well, because it's, I think these dips and these challenges are these moments where we feel like we're being rocked. While they feel uncomfortable, they are offering us just such a beautiful gift of tuning into ourselves even more. Because if it was easy and if it was smooth, well, it would be so boring. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I created this, then I'm going to create something else and it will be a success. I'm going to have the perfect relationship. And,
Right.
the contrast really, it creates such a beautiful and rich experience for us
Yep.
as business owners, as parents, as partners, as people. The contrast is the richness that gives life to, I'm just looking at that beautiful flower like behind you.
Love
Like
it.
that's the beauty that gets birthed from the moments that feel the most uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
when you're squeezed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is there anything else that because I know you and I could talk all day, every day, all day, every day.
When you're like, you want the story, I'm like, oh man, how much of it?
But is there anything on your heart right now, in this moment, in this time of your life and your business, that you most want to share?
I think I touched upon it earlier, but everything is so fleeting, and
Mm-hmm.
like time is the only resource that you never get back. And
Yeah.
like to really, even when it's uncomfortable, like I'm really focusing on allowing myself and granting myself permission to feel all the feelings.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows me is going, yeah, well, you're so emotional anyways. Like, but I'm really starting to view my sensitivity as a gift and vulnerability as really powerful, because I'm validating myself, and that doesn't mean that I'm right every time, but it's like the more that I ease up on myself, allow myself to go through the process, feel mad if I'm feeling mad, feel angry if I'm feeling angry, feel great if I'm feeling great. It's like, it just becomes like easy. It feels easier. Like you
Yeah.
just feel like you're in flow. And with business, like the only thing that's guaranteed is change.
Yeah.
All the time. And once you think you got it figured out, shit's gonna change again.
Yep.
And
So true.
it's like, it is like, for me, it's the thrill of the hunt. It's like, how can we fix this problem and make it better? How can we make our guest experience better? How can we make our staff happier? Like, and it's all of those things. And I think like figuring out your why and knowing like what you want to do, because like hair in the salon is just a vessel for me. Like people are truly my passion. And like you said, like I feel the same way. Like life is nothing without people.
Yeah.
And what I hear all the time is, you work so much, you work so hard. I do. And but I'm not apologizing for it anymore, because it's my passion. So if you're one of those people too, it's like, I think it's just really being conscious of like where you're spending your time. And and if I wasn't passionate about it, maybe I should take a look at things and like adjust course. But like knowing that I know that I'm not always going to work this much, and that, I'm enjoying it and fully immersing myself. So I think for anyone who's listening is just like, allow yourself to do what you really, really want to do. Like, don't settle. Don't be okay. Don't not do it because you're scared. Because
it's never going to go away either.
No. And that's what keeps you going. When people would be like, oh my God, for those of you that don't know my salon, I have a huge orange wall that my amazing designers, Peter and Tess Villard, created, that says my name in huge letters, and people are like, that must be so cool. I'm like, that wall actually makes me want to vomit most of the time. Because it was a lot of like, it represented all of my insecurities. Like, you're going to fail. You're not good enough. And like, I know I've gotten over that. You know, I've not gotten over it, but I've worked through it and created, you know, a successful business. But it's also like, how do you define success? You know, not everything is monetary, not everything is, you know, whatever. But I think like just not settling, and like the fear excites me. The insecurities keep me digging for more and doing work. And it's just like, life can be so awesome when you get out of your comfort zone and you actually like live. And there's other areas that I need to take my own advice in. And like,
we're always taking our own advice.
break out of that a little bit. But as far as like work goes, I mean, it transitions into it. I mean, it overflows into everything else. So, and just try to like see, you know, if you're in a leadership position, like focus on the strengths and pull things out of your people, you know, because it's already there. And it's like, we all just had someone that showed us how to do it, you know, and whatever that it is. So, I don't know. Thanks for listening to my story. And thank you for having me.
You're just a ball of sunshine in my life. A dance party, a music video waiting to happen. And it will happen. That's like on our vision board.
Joshua Giles, we're making that happen.
Yes. But I so honor you for honoring you. And trusting in yourself and trusting in your wisdom, because everything that you shared, I know people are just going to be receiving and downloading, and you know, this is the journey. Let's make it fun and not have, literally, if we could just remove all the expectations and the pressure of it being perfect and all figured out, and we could just dance and explore and be in the process of growth instead, our life would feel so much more rich.
Totally.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Again, everybody in the New England area or traveling there or just wanting amazing, to feel amazing in your body and your skin. And I just highly recommend. I'll be there in November and December and every time I come home, to Jessica Todd Salon in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, or Dry Bar. Is it Dry Bar or is it just Dry by Jessica?
Dry by Jessica
Todd. Nice.
All in one location now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So exciting. And thank you, sister, for being such a light and for believing in others and seeing their beauty and their truth, because it is this beautiful ripple effect that benefits all of us.
Well, thank you.
All right. Love you, sister. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Have an awesome day. See you soon.